these things on the list. The ones that have a 3 on them, I don't think human beings should consume. That being said, I'm not going to pretend like once in a while I don't eat ice cream or something like that. Okay, but the non-foods, again, the things in non-food fit the category of the definition of the word poison. Okay, they're all chemicals. Okay, they're not made by God. They're put together by man, and they're very damaging to the body. They might not kill you tomorrow, but they still fit the definition of poison. But it's a slow poison, not so much fast poison. Soft drink, soda is a big one. Anytime anybody wants to get healthy and they say, "What's the first thing I should do?" Stop soda. Always the first thing I tell people. And anybody who wants to lose a few pounds, if you drink soda, you'll see 15, 20 pounds fall off usually the first month. What's that? Well, for a lot of people. For a lot of people, because I've seen it.
Now, that might have worked for my husband.
And then you go down to the 2s, dairy products, starches. Starches is probably the biggest one for candida and fungal issues. They love starch. They love breads. They love all types of breads. I put the exception as sprouted whole grain breads. Because again, when it's sprouted, it actually becomes a living, edible, enzyme-rich, nutrient-dense food. But only if you can handle it. Most people that have severe candida and fungal infections, when they eat even a sprouted bread, they'll notice immediately that they have a reaction to it. So at the top of this list, and I didn't put it there, is anything you have a reaction to, you should not eat. And you know. You're shaking your head like you do something.
Yeah, I just got a conversation about sprouted bread, and he was like, "It's not making me feel good, but it's not, since it's sprouted, I should be able to eat it." And I was like, "I don't care if it's sprouted, I feel horrible whenever I eat it."
Yeah.
So we were kind of going back and forth about it.
Right.
I was like, "I won't touch it. If it's sprouted bread, I just stay away."
And that's one of those things, like I said, about not being dogmatic, because everybody's different. You can't be like, "Well, sprouts are good for you, so everybody can eat them and they're fine." You know, it's not that way.
It just depends on your body.
Depends on your body. Depends on what's going on in your body. So if there's any food that you have a reaction to, stay away from it. Because one thing I really learned, so many people have food sensitivities and food allergies, and often it's their favorite foods, and often it's the foods that they consume their whole life. And their body's just like, "I'm done with this. I'm done with you." And it doesn't want it anymore. And it's like, so every time you eat it, it has an autoimmune reaction. Like it's an enemy, it's an invader, it's a poison. So you have to be cognizant of that. And there's ways to clear those allergies out of the system. But the guy I send people to do it, Dr. David, he's hilarious. He goes, "Just because I clear your body of an allergy, it doesn't mean that that food is necessarily good for you." He said, "I can clear you so that you don't have an allergy to arsenic when you take arsenic. But if you drink enough arsenic, you will die." So it's the same thing with anything else. I mean, you can be cleared of sugar so you don't have a reaction to sugar, but it doesn't mean if you don't eat a lot of sugar that you can become a diabetic in a month. Because you absolutely can. Meat, we kind of talked about a little bit. Fried food, oils. Oils is a big one for me. I think oils are really, 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 really important. But the ones that are chemically altered by man, I've done classes on good fats versus bad fats, and it's pretty simple. I had a list God made and listed all the fats, avocados and flax and all those kind of great things. Man-made, and it's all the garbage. So that's why we need to learn how to read food labels. And I am doing a food label reading class in March. Well, hopefully you guys will bring all kinds of stuff that we can read the labels are. It'll be fun. And I put in the class not to just bring healthy stuff. Bring it all. Ooh, I got an example. Okay, a gal came in, she was pregnant, and she went to Walgreens and brought a prenatal vitamin. And she wanted me to look at it to see if it was okay. And, remember we were talking about the definition of poison and the chemicals. And here's just, it would probably take me a whole hour class just to read the ingredients in this, but some of them are titanium dioxide, polyethylene glycol, which is something that's an antifreeze, pyridoxine hydrochloride, that's just a B vitamin, FD&C red number 40 lake, FD&C yellow number 6, FD&C blue number 2 lake. And those chemicals are known carcinogens, but they're still GRAS, generally recognized as safe by the FDA. dextrose, which is a sugar, and it has soy in it. But what's interesting, it doesn't even list soy on the ingredients. So it's just interesting what they're doing to our food supply and our vitamins, and you know, and that's why being healthy and getting into health can be so confusing, because you're like, okay, I'm going to be healthy, I'm going to go get a multivitamin, and the first thing people do is they get a Centrum, or the next notch up, I think, is probably like they go to GNC and get like the men's or the women's multi at GNC, right? You know, all that stuff is just synthetic junk. Mega Man, that's it. Yeah, Mega Man. You know, and for so many of those companies, it's advertising and it's marketing, and it's just not quality. I mean, you can do more harm than good to your body by taking vitamins if you take the wrong ones.
Whey protein and everything.
Whey protein, yeah. I mean, there's so many things we could get into and talk about, but you know, we've seen articles come out in the paper about how these vitamins aren't necessarily good for you and things like that. I mean, who knows what to believe? You know, what type of vitamin they use? Was it synthetic or was it a natural source? What kind of dosage did you use? Was it a low dose or was it a high dose? I mean, they just come out like vitamin E might not be good for you. Okay, what does that mean? You know, I mean, vitamin E is found in seeds, mostly sunflowers, pumpkin seed, and things like that. Walnuts, a lot of your nuts and seeds have vitamin E. I would never tell somebody that sunflower seeds and walnuts aren't good for you, but suddenly vitamin E might not be good for you. Or vitamin C might not be that good for you. They're actually trying to ban intravenous, the FDA, did you guys hear that? They're trying to ban intravenous vitamin C.
No, I wish I could do it now.
Intravenous vitamin C? Yeah. If you want to watch a really good movie, we should have a movie night. We talked about doing it, and we haven't done it.
You did.
Ooh, well, I got you. What would be a good night for a movie night? We were actually thinking about doing it on Saturday, like at 6 p.m. Would that work for people? No, not you? Yeah, but, I mean, is there a better night?
No,
And the only weeknight, well, actually, I don't have a weeknight. Well, anyway, we should do a movie night. Because there's a movie called Food Matters. Has anybody seen Food Matters? You've seen it? You've seen it? Amazing movie. Amazing movie. They talk a lot in there about intravenous vitamin C.
Yeah.
Going up to 200,000 milligrams in people and completely reversing all types of illnesses with 0 side effects. And now they're talking about making it illegal, which is crazy. But any questions on, I mean, we could have talked so much more about specific
I'm
foods.
sorry, do you know anyone that's had anything this time?
Personally, no.
What are you using at KU Medicine for
Yeah.
cancer? There's a doctor down there.
Yeah, KU Med Center was doing research on it. Yep, I remember that.
Integrated medicine
Yeah.
program.
Yep.
Julie Driscoll.
Jeannie Briscoe.
But you have to be ill to get it.
I don't know, I would assume
You would find it.
in the medical community, you usually have to be diagnosed with something to get treatment, you know, so.
Maybe you could find someone to diagnose you with something. There's lots of people. And then you could
Tell me I have this
disease. They'll make up a new name. They might even name it after you.
Yeah, and we'll talk more about specific foods, like I said, next week. And under low residue foods, in 2 weeks, we're going to talk more about food combining, 80-20 rules, and things like that. When it comes to Candida fungus, I think there's but there's some controversy over whether you should eat fruits or not. I have a hard time thinking that a beautiful, wonderful, nutritious, in-season food is not good for you. So I've battled that one a long time, but I've came to a conclusion on it, so I'll share it with you. But we'll talk about all that stuff in a couple of classes.